Deep beneath the forest floor lived a small ant named Arlo. Every day, he marched tirelessly with his colony lifting crumbs, building tunnels, and never resting. But Arlo carried a silent burden. He felt hopelessly, frustratingly small. Above ground, he'd watch butterflies, bees, and even birds soaring in the sunlight. He'd often whisper to himself, "Why was I born to crawl when others get to fly?" His heart ached with a quiet envy for the world he couldn't reach. He felt trapped by his own smallness, convinced that his life was destined to be overlooked. This feeling grew heavier. With each passing day, a shadow that followed him even in the darkest tunnels. One morning, while foraging, Arlo saw a group of giant fire ants marching proudly. They were larger, stronger, and their presence seemed to command the entire forest floor. Their queen would often boast, loud enough for all to hear, "Only the biggest and strongest rule this forest." Arlo's heart burned with a new, fierce envy. He looked at his own tiny frame and then at their powerful bodies, and a comparison felt like a wound. That night, under the soft glow of the moon, he made a decision that would change his life forever. He would leave his colony and join the giants. "I'll show them," he whispered into the darkness. "I'll show everyone that size is all that matters." And with that, he slipped away from his sleeping family and began his long, lonely journey. After days of wandering, exhausted and hungry, he finally found the fire ant's nest. But the welcome he received wasn't what he had imagined. They laughed when they saw him. One sneered, prodding him with an antenna. "You're too small. You'll just slow us down." Arlo, desperate to be accepted, begged, "Please, I can work harder than anyone. Just give me a chance." Reluctantly, they let him stay. But life among the giants was a nightmare. It wasn't the glorious existence he had dreamed of. He was forced to carry loads 5 times his own weight, slept on cold, hard stones, and was mocked relentlessly for his size. Every day was a struggle, a constant reminder of his supposed inferiority. Yet, he stayed, clinging to a fragile hope. "If I just endure," he told himself, "if I just prove I can handle it, they'll finally see my worth." One stormy night, the sky cracked open and rain flooded the fire ant's tunnels. Chaos erupted. Panic spread as the water rose with terrifying speed. The giants, in their selfish fear, rushed to save their queen, trampling over and leaving behind the smaller workers. As the cold water swirled around him, Arlo saw a trapped baby ant, helpless and crying out. In that moment, something inside him sparked. The need to impress, the envy, the desire to be big, it all vanished. Without a second thought, he used his small body to block a narrow gap in the tunnel wall, creating a temporary dam. With all his might, he dug a tiny drain to divert the rushing water. He knew it was a losing battle, and soon the current swept him away. But his quick, selfless action had bought enough time to save dozens of ants, including the very queen who would look down on him. When Arlo woke, the world was soft and familiar. He wasn't in the cold, harsh nest of the fire ants. He was back in his old colony, surrounded by the friends he had left behind. They had found him washed ashore and brought him home. But the way they looked at him had changed. There was no pity, only admiration and respect. The colony's wise elder approached him and said gently, "You left wanting to be big, Arlo, but you returned showing everyone you have the biggest heart." A soft smile touched Arlo's face. He finally understood. "I thought greatness came from size," he admitted, "but now I see it comes from service. It comes from who you are, not how big you are." We often find ourselves looking at what others have, their success, their strengths, their size, and forget the incredible value of who we already are. Arlo's journey teaches us a powerful lesson. Comparison is a thief that shrinks our spirit, but purpose is a force that makes us powerful. You don't need to be the biggest, the loudest, or the most visible person in the room to make a big difference. Sometimes, the quietest and smallest among us are the ones who carry the strongest and brightest light. True worth isn't measured by what you can see, but by the courage and kindness you hold within. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content that we hope will inspire you. We'll see you in the next video.